Welcome to the Work the System podcast, where we help entrepreneurs make more and work less using systems. And I'm your host, Josh Fonger. Today, we have a special guest. We have Rick Cesari, who's going to talk to us about how your business and your brand can help you develop a powerful video marketing strategy. Rick has helped major brands from GoPro to George Foreman build billion-dollar brands through brand response, advertising, and strategic video marketing. His upcoming book, Video Persuasion, aims to put big brands' proven video marketing techniques into the hands of small business owners, entrepreneurs, inventors, Amazon sellers, and others. A best-selling author, speaker, consultant, and marketing and brand strategy guru, Rick is bringing his expertise to us today, sharing best practices in video marketing so you can successfully influence your customers and build your brand. All right, Rick, I'm really excited about this interview today, especially after our pre-show prep here. But why don't you give us the story about how you got into video marketing.
Oh, I'll do that. And Josh, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And before I dive into my background, I just want to mention, because you talked about, working with major brands like GoPro and George Foreman. Just so your listeners know, I started working with the products we're going to talk about today, George Foreman, Sonicare, Juice Man, Rug Doctor, GoPro. I started working with all those businesses when they were doing less than $1 million in sales or startups, and then help them grow some of them into billion-dollar brands. So a lot of the information we're talking about today is geared towards small businesses, startups, that type of thing.
Perfect.
So just quickly, my background, I don't want to take up too much time. So I actually have a degree in biology. I was going to be a marine biologist. And but after college was over, I would have had to go on and get an advanced degree. So instead, I moved back down to Florida where my family was living. And I was a bum for a year, kind of a bartender and a lifeguard. And fun, though. But I was motivated to do more. So I read a lot of books about motivational books and how people made money. And a lot of people back then and still today were making money through real estate. So I started reading everything I could about it, going to seminars. And I went to this one seminar and they taught me how to go out and buy a piece of property. And I turned around and sold it and made $12,000 in 2 weeks. And in my early 20s, that was like $1 million. And so I was so grateful. I reached out to a biggest business magazine in Florida called Florida Trend, and I got the guy who put on the seminar a big article. It helped his seminar business start doing well, and he asked me to work for him. And so the next couple of years, I started promoting real estate seminars. And just to give your listeners and viewers a little bit perspective, that was back when we were using newspaper ads to promote real estate seminars. But quickly, they were some of the first guys to start using television direct response or infomercials, and learned how to do that by promoting these seminars. Then I went out on my own and was always interested in health and started a company called Trillium Health Products. And we introduced the country to drinking fresh juices by developing the Juice Man brand and educating people about the benefits of it. And again, using television direct response to market that. And we were in the right place at the right time with the right product. And that company grew from 0 to 75 million in sales in a little under 4 years. Really, exponential growth. And a company out of Chicago, we sold to a company called Sultan Housewares. And they wanted to buy the brand, but they also wanted to know the type of marketing we were doing. And they came back to me with 2 products. One was a homemade bagel maker, and the other one was a slanted grill, which used to be a fajita maker, but that turned into the George Foreman Grill. And after that, things just took off, and people started coming to me because of the success of some of the products we did, and then was able to work with companies and products like Sonicare and Clarisonic and Rug Doctor and OxiClean, GoPro, and lots of other things. And so over the course of the time, and the reason I wrote this book, Video Persuasion, it kind of take 25 years of producing video to get people to respond, and encapsulated kind of as much as I learned into that book.
So for the small business owner who is just starting out in video marketing, and maybe they're hearing this for the first time, what kind of words of wisdom would you give them? Like, what are the keys to making video marketing work for a small business owner?
Well, the first thing they really have to understand is if you aren't using video in your business right now, some form or another, you really need to, because we're really turning into what I call a video first society. And I just want to read a few statistics to you. Every second, almost 17,000 hours of new video be produced. Forbes reports that there's been more video produced in the last 30 days than all the television networks have produced in the last 30 years. This year, nearly 80% of all internet traffic will be made up of videos. So obviously, video is becoming persuasive in our society, but then there's the benefit, like, video marketing is powerful. When viewers watch a video, they retain 95% of the message compared to maybe only 10% when they're just reading text. And using video in an email can lead to 200, 300% increase in click-through rates, including video on a landing page can increase conversion rates by 80%. So these aren't my statistics. These come from places like email platforms like HubSpot and video platforms and things. So my message is, you need to really understand video, understand the power of video, and how you can put it to use to help grow your business.
So let's say that you've never done video before, but you're shy. You let's say you sell air conditioners, right?
Yeah.
Should you jump into video marketing and make the brand all about you and your personality and kind of overcome your fears, or is it better to just try to use video without videos of you? Like, how do you even
There's
begin?
a couple answers to that question, and really, I have a chapter in the book that it talks about, quote unquote, be your own spokesperson, because I really believe that that's a very powerful way. People want to hear from the founder, the inventor, the owner of the company. And so one video that I recommend that everybody has on their website is really a personal message from the owner that really tells why they're in business, what the benefit to the end user is, and why you're different than everybody else out there. And you need to do those kind of things for your business anyway, but it's good to have that initial message right on the front page of your website. Now, the other thing, and this, I still do this today, any business that I consult with, I highly recommend that everyone goes out and talks to their customers or clients, but at the same time they're doing that, they have a video camera running. So basically I'm setting up a testimonial shoot, and it doesn't matter if you're an air conditioning business, insurance business, whatever, the feedback you're going to get from your actual customers is really better than any focus group. And you're going to hear, I ask people a series of questions, why did you buy this product or service? What do you like about it? What do you don't like? Would you refer it to a friend? If you were selling it, how would you sell the product? And at the end of that time, if you have a video camera running, you've captured really great sound bites that you can use in your marketing, either emails, video, testimonial videos on your website. But the other part of it is you've learned a lot about your business, and you've learned basically how to create a marketing message. So those are just a couple simple ways of incorporating video into your business, those two aspects of it.
What about, and I don't want to go too deep into this category, but
Sure.
What about technology? And the reason why I ask is because I've got 3 or 4 clients I'm thinking of right now where I've told them to do video, they got to do video, they should do video. And they're like, well, all I have is a cell phone, or I don't really have a mic yet, or I'm kind of uncomfortable with my lighting. And they just put it off for months and months and months. Is there like a minimum standard you need? And then after that, you should just go for it?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of where we are today, is technology has made it really easy to create video. Back when I was starting making infomercials in the early 90s, it cost us $10,000 a day to rent a video crew. And, we'd rent a camera and the crew and the lighting and the sound. Now, you just mentioned your cell phone. I have a chapter in the book about producing the video, the actual technical part of it. And really, you can use your cell phone to produce great video. The cameras in the cell phone are 4D, high definition, really great cameras. But I do recommend, and I give people, the advice on which things to get. For under $100, you can go on Amazon and buy an inexpensive ring light and it actually comes with a cell phone mount. And you can buy an inexpensive mic that you can plug into your cell phone. And if you buy those two things, and add those, you can go from being, taking like family vacation videos to almost upping your game to semi-professional level videos. And I know that technology is scary. I'm not a technology person. I am more about the content of the videos. But still, between the cell phones today, and then also the other thing I talk about, there's lots of online apps that let people create video. Give you an example, there's dozens of these, but there's ones called Content Samurai. And you can have a written blog and you can plug it into, cut and paste, plug it into there. They'll come up with pictures and titles, and you can add your own voiceover. It's all templates. And you can produce videos just by starting with a written one-page document like this. They can turn it into a video. And they're not the only one. There's lots of different video production templates like that online. So really, technology has made it easy for us to start doing video.
Yeah, I think the thing that seems to be the biggest time point, I think, is fear.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest one. I know for me, as I've transitioned more into leading work the system, as Sam has enjoyed more politics and more retirement. That's been the challenge. I've been like, Sam, I liked it when you were on video. And he's like,
right.
No, that's your turn.
Well, that's the other thing, fear of getting in front of the camera. And I'll give you a perfect example. I use myself personally in order to promote the new book, the marketing person I'm working with said, you should start doing Facebook Lives. And, when you first start doing it and you hit that live button and there's like a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and you're staring into the camera, it's a little nerve wracking, but you have to think about it in this terms. Nobody was a great athlete without practice. Nobody was a great musician without practice. And, the first few times your videos aren't going to be great. But I believe that authenticity and honesty makes up for lack of video production. People will forgive you mistakes, something that doesn't look professional, as long as they know you're trying. And then the more you do it, the better you'll get. So that's like anything else.
Yep. And ultimately, people want their problem solved. And if you are on there,
yes,
you're not a good presenter, but you can solve a problem that they have, they want to work with you. I mean, you're a person. They're not hiring you because of your presentation skills.
Right. You're delivering valuable content. You're delivering the answer to their question, the solution to their problem, and they don't really care. And this has been borne out. I've been doing television infomercials for a long time, online video, Facebook ads, and you can have a really slickly produced commercial, but the content isn't quite right. And then you can have something like that's kind of handmade on a cell phone, but it's the best product ever. And that one will outsell the slickly made production. So it's really not about, to me, production value. It's about the content in the video that you're delivering.
So I want to ask you some questions about some of these brands that you took from virtually nothing to really big. And you can choose any one you want, whether it's the Foreman Grill or Sonicare or GoPro. What did you know when you first started working with them that they were going to be big? And that's the first part of the question is like, did you have any idea? And then what did you learn? Like, what were the kind of the secrets to making that kind of trajectory? Like, was it the product? Was it the video? Was it luck? I mean, can you recreate that now?
Yeah,
can I recreate it?
Yeah, no, you can. And I don't know that luck has a lot to do with it. And a lot of times you don't really know that a product is going to be really great, but you can get confirmation very quickly from consumers. And that gives you an early indication. For me, in the early days, like with a Sonicare, it was a lot harder because you'd have to make a direct response TV commercial, put it out there, and then see people order. But I'll tell you what, the best gauge of whether something's going to be successful is going back to that step of going out and talking to customers or clients and listening to their feedback. And if they're excited and passionate about the product, I know after talking to 10 or 15 people, to answer your question, that yes, this product's going to be very successful. So I'll tell you a quick story about GoPro. You know, I go to trade shows sometimes looking for products, and this is like 10 years ago now. I went to the outdoor retailing trade show in Salt Lake City, and Nick Woodman, the founder of the company, was just starting his business. He was a surfer. He was on the trade show floor. He had a Volkswagen bus. He was selling these cameras out of the back of the bus, and because he developed it to take pictures of himself while he was surfing. And I said, hey, this looks like a good product. We should talk about it. So right after the show, we flew up to Seattle. We sat down, and I have to give him credit that he basically said, I want to build this into $1 billion company. And I kind of laughed because I thought that it could be successful, but I didn't know how big. And so we did all the television marketing for GoPro. And so if you've ever seen a GoPro commercial, there's a really valuable lesson I want to share with your listeners and viewers is we started every GoPro commercial out with a brand logo. So you knew right away what the video was about. And I don't know how many times this has happened to you, Josh, or your listeners, where you start watching a video either on TV or online, and you have no clue what it's about, and then it wastes a lot of time, and you either click away from it or whatever. So I'm a big believer in letting people know right up front what the video is about. So that's what we did with GoPro. Then after the initial brand logo came on, there was user-generated footage that people would send into the company, people jumping off cliffs in wingsuits or snowboarders or scuba divers, really cool footage. And then at the end, and this is where the direct response part comes in, we ended each commercial and we said, someone will win one of everything we make every single day. And so you were giving the viewer a call to action or a reason to take an action. And so 3 things happened. They would go to the GoPro website and they would leave their email address so they would register for the contest. And so we were able to build a database and remarket to these people. The second thing that happened was that people would get to the website, they'd see other cool videos, they'd share them with their friends, and it would create a viral effect. And the third thing that happened was more traditional direct response. People would get to the website, they'd buy the product, and that revenue would have help offset the advertising costs. So it became kind of a accountable advertising or an advertising program that paid for itself, which is really the secret of how a lot of small companies can grow.
There's a lot of things to unpack in that.
Yeah.
But I think the last point is key, is that for anyone who wants to really go big, your marketing has to be paid for by the sales during the first few days or first few weeks after that lead comes in. And if it takes 9 months to convert someone to a sale, that's going to hurt you. But if you can convert someone to sale pretty quick and pay for the ad or make more than the ad costs, then you can just keep going and going and going.
And what you just said is really the secret of how every one of those products you mentioned, the Sonicare and the Juice Man and the OxiClean, every one of those businesses, it isn't, you don't discover it overnight because you're testing, you're figuring out, but every one of them created a model where the advertising paid for itself so that we were able to put those ad dollars back into the advertising, and it creates exponential growth. And so the hard part or tricky part is figuring out or trying to figure that out. And that involves a lot of testing, but also learning, watching what other people do, learning from other people's experience, that type of thing.
So this is going to be a question that's going to be based on your vast experience. What have you learned, from 10, 20 years ago that is still true today about video marketing? And what has changed and is totally not true? Like it used to be true 20 years ago, but 2019, 20 and beyond, it's not true anymore.
Yeah, well, let's start out with what's true, because this is something I try to communicate to everybody. And that is, human behavior doesn't change. So I recommend a book to people. You've probably read this before, Influence,
it's right there. Yeah.
The Psychology of Persuasion. And book. So basically, human psychology, the same hot buttons that people used when they were buying from the Sears catalog, when they were doing direct mail, when they were doing radio, when they were doing TV, all those same things work on Facebook and Amazon. So I always urge people to really study history, study marketing books, because the answer is out there. So if you understand what motivates people, one of the things in Robert Cialdini's book is social proof. And social proof was testimonials. That's what we talked about before. The definition of that, if somebody is in a situation they don't know how to act, like they're on a website and they don't know whether to order or not, and they're on Amazon, they don't know whether to order or not, or they're trying to decide whether to take a left-hand turn and don't know which lane to go into, they look and see what the other person is doing, and then they follow that example. So how many times have you gone even to a movie line, or like I said, a left turn lane, and you saw a big long line, there are two left turn lines, and there's a big long line in one lane and a really small lane in the other, because everyone says, that's what the other person's doing, I need to be doing that same thing. And that's really the value of like social proof. And that's why we incorporate it into our videos. So the things that haven't changed are really understanding human psychology and the reason that people act the way they do and how to push those hot buttons. And I have a whole chapter, 2 chapters in here about copywriting and script writing, and that is based on hitting some of these persuasion techniques from Dr. Cialdini. And then I'll give you another example, and I'll tell you how things changed. I like to say that making an interesting video is very similar to creating a speech that you're going to give from the stage. And I read another book and took a class when I was in my early 20s called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And Dale had a formula for giving a speech that was really simple. He said, tell them what you're going to say it, and then tell them what you said. And I've actually used that simple formula in my video format, and it's worked. And obviously I go into much more detail and expand it, but if you think about somebody who's a good speaker, they capture the audience attention early, they deliver great content, and then they summarize what they said at the end of it. And you should create your videos in the same way, and you'll have a lot of success. Now, the things that's changed, and so, we talked about human behavior, human psychology, whatever. So the thing that's changed are really delivery platforms. You're not using TV and you have a captured audience, and you're talking about the delivery platforms of Facebook and Instagram and YouTube versus TV and radio. So really, the underlying human behavior hasn't changed, just the different delivery platforms. And I'm sure, a year from now, there'll be another hot social media platform that everyone's using. Well, there already is, like there's one that's called TikTok that I don't even know that much about, that's coming up. And, there's just always going to be a new delivery platform to reach people. What you need to focus on, or what your listeners need to focus on, is what's the content that you're going to deliver across that platform that gets people to respond.
So this leads to my next question. Because it's a moving target, the technology is changing, the mediums are changing, the delivery mechanisms are changing. As an owner, does it make sense for you to study and learn and try to stay on the cutting edge of these things? Or does it make more sense, this is kind of a leading question, make more sense for you to really understand your business and what people like about your product or service, and then find someone who really lives in that world to do it for you?
Yeah, I agree with part 2 of that. Know and understand your business. Know what your unique selling proposition is. Why are you different than the competition? How can you make your business better? And then let the experts, I talk about Facebook advertising, YouTube advertising. I don't do that myself. I use somebody, I find out, I go online, I go through LinkedIn, I ask people that I associate with, who's the best Facebook buyer, Facebook ad buyers for consumer goods? Who's the best Facebook buyer to promote like a coaching program or an online course? And believe me, the answers come out there if you start doing a little research. And so I'll just go, and sometimes I can't afford to use the best. I mean, and I'm sure other businesses have that thing, but there's a lot of people that are doing it very well. So I've been in marketing all my life, and I don't try to understand all the different marketing platforms, but I have learned to exactly what you said, to try to go with people that know how to do what I don't do, and they do it better.
Yep. I think I kind of gave you a leading question there, but I think that's true for the entrepreneurs listening to this, is to know the fundamentals, right?
Mhm.
Have, kind of be a jack of all trades, but really you need to know your customers, know your business, know your product or service, and then look to the experts
Yep.
to help you with those things that, like, I'm not going to write my own contracts. I'm going to have an attorney do that. It's just,
Exactly.
there's just no point. So, okay, this is all very fascinating to me. So what do you see as the future play? Because things are moving fast. Where will we be in, let's just say, 10 years? I mean, should people be adjusting the way they do their video marketing based on some kind of future projection that you see?
Um, I don't, that's a great question. I haven't, I thought about that in terms now, but let me give you an example.
Mhm.
And again, I don't want to be repetitious, but, we were using good authentic testimonials to promote real estate seminars 30 years ago. And if you think about reviews on Amazon, they're testimonials. So again, the concept of knowing what works in marketing, um, the marketing channels are going to change, but there's certain elements that really work. And in my book, I talk about how any business can get great testimonials. I give them an email sequence that they can use and send out to get people to show up and give testimonials. I talk about direct response, direct marketing concepts that worked in direct mail but work in video. So it's really, I think, I have no idea where we're going to be. I know that artificial intelligence is going to be a big part of it, but there's always going to be a human element to any business. And so understanding the things, again, the hot buttons that motivate people, to me, is the secret of success.
So Rick, we're kind of running low on time here. So I want to give you a few open-ended questions here for you to speak what you need to speak. So second to last question would be,
Sure.
what's one thing that I didn't ask you, but I probably should have asked you, that you think our audience of small business owners probably needs to hear about?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, I would say that, if people aren't using video, you're recommending it to your clients, they need to start incorporating video into their business. It's
Mhm.
not that hard. If you're afraid of doing it, there's other people that professionally can do it. It's going to be worth the money. Start exploring it and figuring out how to do it. There's again, just the basic overview video, testimonial videos, and then one thing I didn't talk about, and people can get a free download on my website, the 3 most engaging types of online video, and how you can implement it in your business, is a free download at my website. But that is tutorial videos, how to use a product or service. And then a demonstration video, which is a little different than a tutorial. That's where you're actually selling the product. The tutorial is the how-to. The demonstration is you're selling the product, and it includes a call to action. And the third is again, we talked about already, is testimonials. And if you can incorporate those 3 types of videos into your marketing, into your business, it'll help boost both sales and conversions.
Mhm. Well, very good. So Rick, where can people go if they want to get more information, they want to check out your book? Where should they go to?
All right, best place to get in contact with is my website, which is rickcesari.com. And it's my first name is Rick, and the last name is Cesari, rickcesari.com. And I write a weekly blog, and a lot of the things we talked about, I go into a lot of depth on there. You can register to get that free download, and then you'll get a lot of interesting content-rich information from me that I'll send out to you. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is my same name, Rick Cesari, but .tv. And I make videos. I said, here's how you make a good demonstration video. Here's how you make a good tutorial video. Here's how you can, the 3 ways to engage the viewer at the beginning of a video. Lots of great information, and I just urge your listeners or your viewers to check it out. They'll get a lot of great video information.
Mhm. Well, very good. Well, Rick, I appreciate you taking the time. This has been really useful information for our audience. It certainly was for me. I got a page full of notes here. So everyone who's watching this podcast, listening to it, make sure to check us out next week. We share another podcast with a business expert like Rick, or one of my previous clients, or one of my certified coaches to explain how to improve your business to make more, work less. And if you want a copy of one of those books right there behind me, Work the System, leave us a review at info@workthesystem.com, or leave us a copy of your review at info@workthesystem.com. And then we'll be sending one book out a week. So you can leave a review anywhere on iTunes or anywhere you're watching this on YouTube, and just let us know what you think. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, Rick.
Thank you.